Hey, everybody. So, welcome back to Brave Purpose Podcast. I'm so excited. My name is Anisa L. Wesley. I'm the best selling author of the book, Please Excuse My Brave, Overcoming Fear and Living Out Your Purpose. I also do a whole bunch of other fun stuff in life, like I have a whole book. I have a baby that's 3 months old. So, if I look tired, it's because I am. I have a husband. I also run my own business, my private practice, as well as a coaching business. I'm a purpose coach. So, and now I can add to the list that I'm a podcaster. How amazing, how cool. All of these things I'm doing out of the obedience of God and out of His leading. I feel blessed to be able to share some of the things that I have learned and some of the things that I continue to learn in this podcast. I was not excited about it at first, but if you want to know more about that, you can look at episode 1 or the introduction about how I really didn't really want to do this. But now it's actually something that I look forward to and that I am enjoying. So I'm going to get into the topic because I try to keep these episodes pretty short. So my topic for today is ready, drum roll. How do you like my drum? But the topic for today is be prepared for the opportunity. Be ready for the opportunity. So I think that that is a really good topic, and I have a few points that I wanted to kind of go over today about being ready and what that actually means, because the last episode was about starting before you're ready. So you're like, Anisa, how can I be prepared and start before I'm prepared? Ready and prepared aren't necessarily the same thing, right? So ready is more of, to me, is more of a state of mind, is more of a illusion sometimes, right? Like you say, are you ready for something in life? And you're like, I'm as ready as I think I can be, or but being prepared for something is different. Like you're actually taking the steps that you need to take in order to get to where you're trying to go in life, right? So that's a totally different thing to me, anyway. Um, and so the first point that I'm going to make here is that whatever you're praying for right now, you're asking God for it. You're praying for a miracle. You're praying for a baby. You're praying for your healing. You're praying for a new opportunity to come up in your business or in, your line of work, whatever that may be. Whatever you are praying for right now, my question to you today is, how are you preparing for it? Have you prepared for what you have prayed for? And I want you to sit there and think about that for a second, because I think that sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm prepared. Like I already know when God bring it, I'm gonna just be good and be doing. But I want you to think about it. The main thing when it comes to serving other people or, doing something that you're called to do, whether that's being a mother, whether that is running a business, or you're actually praying for something like a miracle, like I mentioned, you have to um, have the character for whatever it is that you're praying for. So your character matters. It may not matter to some other people. And, people may make it seem like in different industries that it doesn't matter, your character, but it actually does matter. And why it matters is because there are certain things that are a part of our characters that are learned over time that we need to unlearn before we can grow to a certain level of success, or even of healing, before we can get to certain places. We have to overcome certain things in our own personalities, in our own characters. And what is your character? Your character is your being. I mean, not your being, but it's who you are in the dark. um, that's also a form of integrity. Like your character is who you are when nobody is looking. right? That's truly who you are. You can't fake integrity. You can't fake character because eventually it's going to come out. Now, I used to have this professor, and she was really amazing, really great lady. I don't remember her name though, which is the weird part. She was so awesome, and I remembered a lot of her things that she did, but I don't remember her name. So if you're watching this, thank you, Professor, but I'm sorry I forgot your name. And she gave this analogy, and it's called the grape, G-A-R-A. Well, no, I'm just kidding. I can't spell today. Grape, grape analogy. And it's talking about character. And so the analogy is if you go to a grocery store, which a lot of people do or don't do anymore because maybe you do Instacart, but if you remember going to the grocery store and you're in the fruit aisle, right? Some people, which I never knew this because this isn't something that I actually do, but you know, it made me think about it. Some people may go and actually taste test some of the fruit or some of the things that are there, like grapes. You might take a grape. Is it good? Is it ripe? Is it whatever? And the purpose of her saying that was, if you are willing to pretty much steal, you're stealing without you haven't bought this thing yet, and you may or may not buy the grapes, right? That's the whole point. You may or may not buy the grapes. Then you're stealing. You're stealing, bruh. You're stealing, sis. And the thing is, if you're willing to steal in that scenario, right? You're just dabbling in it a little bit there. Like nobody would necessarily call you a thief right there, but you're thieving. You're stealing. And so that will, and I am that will. There's no way to separate you stealing in this one area of your life from other areas of your life. So do an evaluation of yourself and see, do you have great behavior where you're willing to steal or not have integrity or lie or cheat or do certain things that are you prideful, whatever it is in your character in one area of your life, just one. And then think about other areas of your life and see, maybe is it seeping over even just a little bit, right? So great behavior is something that you want to be mindful of, like something that you're willing to do in one area of your life, it can seep over to other areas of your life. And so the main thing when you're getting prepared for an opportunity, when you're preparing for what you're praying for, if you're a Christian, right? um, then you have to be mindful of your own character, because God is not going to elevate someone who doesn't have the character to sustain it. Because if he elevates you at that point, then we know that there's going to be a downfall at some point, right? There's going to be that great behavior is going to catch up with you. And so I just want to, put that in mind. Are you preparing your character? Are you preparing your finances? Are you preparing your relationships? Are you preparing your heart for what it is that you have prayed for? All right. The second one is that being prepared doesn't mean you've perfected it, right? Being prepared doesn't mean you've perfected it. So make sure that you're not having a perfectionist mindset, because then you can go watch episode number 2, Start Before You're Ready. Because if you try to perfect something, you're never gonna do it. You're never gonna post it. You're never gonna start it. So remember that being prepared does not mean being perfect, and you want to um, remember that, because I think if you're trying to perfect something, it slows you down. Nothing's perfect, nothing in life. And you can always go back and make it better and learn and different things. So just remember that perfect does not exist, unless it's my son, because he's pretty perfect. Uh, but anyway, I'm just kidding, but kind of. So The third thing I want to talk about, and I'm kind of going a little bit faster because I'm running out of time, my own time that I created. And so, learning from others as you're preparing for what you're praying for, learning from others is good. Having mentors is good. Asking questions is good. Having wise counsel is good before you just jump into something, or even having people who are praying for you and, believing with you. But whatever you're going into life, like for example, in this podcast, um, or in writing a book or in starting a business, whatever it is, make sure that you're bringing your authentic self to the table, that you're not being a carbon copy of somebody else. Because I think that people can smell when you're faking it, when you are trying to be like someone else a little bit too much. Like there's a difference between admiration and copying. Okay. So just make sure that even if you are admiring someone's work, you admire whatever they're doing, that's not bad. It's inspiration. I have a lot of people who I consider mentors and who I am inspired by, but I try my best to bring my authentic self to the table because one, I don't know how to be fake. I always say I don't have a fake bone in my body because I don't. But I want, when you're preparing for what it is you're praying for, make sure that you're preparing in a way that is authentic to you. It's authentic to who God has called you to be. So that's where I'm going to leave this podcast for now. The next episode may go into a little more detail about bringing your authentic self to the table. But I'm going to stop it because I don't want to go too much over time. But thank you all for listening today. Remember, you have what it takes to live your life bravely.